Hey everybody, this is Mr. Fred Please, or Mr. Fred from American Kempo Karate Systems of Moncks Corner, South Carolina. And this video is to teach short form number one in the Ed Parker American Kempo system. Now, short one is the most foundational of all the forms. And there's really only 8 moves. But they're sometimes the 8 hardest moves in all of Kempo Karate. So with this form, we are basically learning the 4 most foundational blocks that we have. We're learning an inward block, an outward block, an upward block, and a downward block in that sequence. I'm also learning how to face attackers from 12, from 9, from 3, and from 6. And I'll go into a little more depth with that in a few minutes. But short kata number one teaches us a few things. One, it does teach us how to block. 2, it teaches us how to our stances and how they're to be done properly. There are 3 principles that short kata number one teaches you. The first principle is, in Kempo Karate, you always step away from a strike, you never step into one. The second principle is that by stepping away from a strike, you're creating distance, and distance is always going to be your best friend. And the third principle is that if you do have to block, you meet it to beat it so you don't eat it. So let's get started. I'm going to start at attention stance to honor some of the traditions that Kempo Karate has as part of its history. We always begin with the beginning salute, which is the right fist comes up, we say Kempo Kata. The left chop comes up, and we announce this is short form one. And then we step out with our left foot and show the scholar and the warrior. Now from here, I'm going to envision someone's throwing a straight punch at my face from 12 o'clock. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step away by taking a step back with my left foot. Now as I do that, I'm creating that distance that I'm looking for. By creating the distance, I'm learning, hey, I'm stepping away. This is a good thing. I have space, and I can really use that space to create weakness in their attack. But that punch is coming directly for me. So from here, if you notice, I'm keeping my hands in the scholar and the warrior because it's my right hand that's chambered. So from here, I take that right hand and I turn it into an inward block. Now as I'm turning it into an inward block, you notice that my feet are pointed straight ahead towards 12 o'clock. This is what we call traditional forward stance. But I don't want to block in a traditional forward stance. What I want to do is I want to turn my body, my block, and my feet to the 45 degrees. Now as I inward block, I'm in proper right neutral position. That block is meeting it to beating it, so I'm not eating it. Now, in Kempo Karate, if I can do this with my right hand, I got to be able to do it with my left. So I'm imagining a same attacker coming at me from 12 o'clock. That right straight punch is coming toward me, or left straight punch, it's inconsequential. I take that right foot, step away. Now from here, by stepping away, I'm creating that distance. Now with that distance comes the block on the other side. Now again, I'm in left neutral. Left toes are going a 45-degree angle. My next step in this kata is to realize one very important thing. If I continue to block, and if I continue a pattern, and I keep going back, and back, and back, I run out of room. And Ed Parker knew this. So this is the point in the kata where he teaches that sometimes stepping away, creating distance, doesn't always mean stepping backwards. Sometimes it means stepping to an angle. And what is the first angle that every person learns? They learn a 90-degree angle. Now we also look at it as the letter L, which is the basic pattern for this form. It's the letter L. So if I go back to the beginning where I'm here in attention stance, Kempo Kata, short form one, stepping out to my stance. Now again, I'm imagining that attacker from 12. I'm stepping away, creating distance. Now my block is going to meet it to beat it by not only turning my stance to a 45 into the right neutral, but the block meets it. If I can do this on one side, I'm going to step away. This time with the right foot, create that distance. Here comes the left block with the meet it to beat it. Now, as I'm blocking, what I'm looking for are open-ended triangles. And if I've got a strong open-ended triangle, my block has perfect symmetry. And if I have perfect symmetry, that's the meet it to beat it. So now, I'm going to envision someone's throwing a hook punch at my head from 9 o'clock. And I said, uh-oh, well, I can't step into it, and I can't really step back because that's not going to help. So what I'm going to do is step away. But I'm going to step away by taking the right foot, stepping towards 130. And when I do that, my inward block turns to an outward block. Again, looking for open-ended triangles. So my outward block has good symmetry with my elbow tucked. My knuckles are right about where my nose is, and I'm making that nice V. Well, here, I'm going to envision they're still coming at me with a hook punch, coming again from 9 o'clock. So if I can do it with my left hand, now I'm going to step away with the left foot. I'm going to create that distance, but now as the block comes up, boom, right outward block. Now here I am, I'm at the halfway part of the form. There's that letter L. So what am I going to do? Well, everything I can do one way, I'm going to do in reverse. So now I'm going to completely reverse my stance. Now when I look, I go, oh no, my feet are wrong. You know why? Because I'm in a reverse stance. That doesn't help. But it's an easy adjustment. So from here, I'm visualizing somebody coming overhead at me from 3 o'clock. So again, I'm going to take my right foot. This time, if I'm on that clock principle, I'm stepping towards 7:30. And when I do that, facing a new direction, now it's the left hand that comes to an upward block. Again, my upward block should be like the roof of a house. So I'm looking for open-ended triangles, nice and strong. Well, if I can do this on one side with my left hand, I'm going to step away with my left foot. I'm going to turn into my right neutral now, upward block. Now so far I've faced 12, I faced 9, and I faced 3. So what's the only direction left to face? 6 o'clock. I've done an inward block, an outward block, and an upward block. What's the only block left to do? Downward. Now I'm going to implement all of that into that final set of moves. So again, we start at the beginning. Kempo kata, short form 1, horse. I step back with the left foot, right hand is here, right inward block in a right neutral stance. If I can do this on one side, I'm going to do it the other, so the right foot steps away, left hand blocks, left neutral stance, strong. Now, from here, the right thing to do is to take my right foot, step towards 130. And when I do that, my inward block becomes an outward block. Well, if I can do this on one side, I can do it on the other. So the left foot steps away into the left neutral. Now I do a right neutral stance, right outward block. From here, I'm at the halfway point of the form. So my thing now is to go in reverse. So I'm going to reverse my stance by taking the right foot, stepping towards 7:30, turning, now rising block or upward block. If I can do the upward block on one side, the left foot steps away, pivot to right neutral, right upward block. Now again, the last direction left to face is 6. The last block left to do is a downward block. So my left foot is going to step to 130. As it does, my upward block comes down. Well, if I can do this on one side, I'm going to take that right foot. I'm going to step away so I can be in left neutral, left downward block. The very last thing left to do is to step with my left foot back to my horse, come together, and close. Now I'm going to do the kata at full speed. Kempo kata, short 1. I would take that slow at first, then pick up your speed. Ideally, 5 to 6 times, slow, and maybe a few more times fast. That is short form number 1 for today. Go ahead and practice.